Do you feel like there's never enough time to figure out what to eat, let alone make anything? So you just grab whatever you can, or you even skip? Do you train hard, but you feel like you're not actually getting stronger? Do you want to look like you train as hard as you do? I've been there, done that, and meal planning is your missing link. In today's episode, I'm going to explain how meal planning can save your sanity, build muscle, and boost performance. And I'm going to share with you my method for planning out meals. So tighten your ponytail and let's get into it. I have a confession to make. Sometimes I feel like I'm drinking from a fire hose on life. I feel like I have so many things going on at any given point in time, and food kind of just is like the last thing for me to think about. I'm like, I don't know, I'll just open the refrigerator and see what's in there, and I'll just grab something. May not actually be what I need, but I'm just going to go with that. Does that sound like you? Because sometimes, like I said, that is me. And the thing that I do to get myself back on track is meal planning. Meal planning really does not take a whole lot of time at all. It can take you seriously 10 minutes. And I do have a podcast episode on this, which I will link below for you on how to meal plan in less than 10 minutes for the entire week. But really, it takes not a whole lot of time. And I get my life in order in terms of eating so that I feel more confident in what I'm doing as far as fueling my body. And then that helps me with my training sessions, which then further helps my confidence because I actually am building muscle and I look like I'm actually training as much as I am. So let's first talk about strength plateaus. How do you actually know that you are in a strength plateau? So number one is lack of progress. You're not getting anywhere. You're not really getting any stronger. You're not able to lift any more weight. And performance is really just decreasing. You're not growing any more muscle. You are not looking like you train as much as you do. You are experiencing more fatigue. You're tired more. You are getting more injuries, or maybe you're getting sick more. These are all signs of strength plateaus. Also, under eating. So we want to make sure that you are eating enough to fuel your body. And I'll be honest, making sure that you are fueling your body properly and eating enough is something that you're going to have to allocate a little bit of brain power to. Sometimes people call me and they're like, just tell me what to eat. I don't even want to think about it. Just tell me what to eat. But here's the deal. If you're going to go to school and get a degree in whatever, you actually have to think about that. You can't just get a degree and someone's going to give you the information and you never think about it ever again. You have to understand the information and you have to think about it. And that's not to say that meal planning is difficult, because it's really not, but you do have to take a few minutes to just kind of plan that out. It's that whole saying, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And that's very much true when it comes to food. So let's talk about why nutrition matters in terms of building muscle. So for one, it's like putting gas in your car. You don't have gas in your car, you're not going anywhere, right? It's the same thing with your body. You have to make sure that you are eating, because your body takes that fuel, carbohydrates, proteins, and fats, and it turns it into muscle. It also turns it into usable energy. It's also going to help to make hormones and enzymes so that you can have different reactions happen in your body, like your metabolism and the ability to gain muscle. So you have to eat in order to have the energy to train, but then also you have to eat after to make sure that you are recovering from your workouts. If you don't know anything about recovering from your workouts, there's a podcast episode that I just did on this. So just go back one episode and you can listen to that. But that's going to help fuel your muscle repair and growth. And so all those things kind of go hand in hand. We have to make sure that we are getting in all the nutrients that our body needs. And the way that we do that is by planning it out. So if you are not eating enough, like you're constantly hungry, or if you're waking up in the middle of the night, you're under fueling, or if you are skipping meals, you're under fueling. So we need to counteract that with meal planning. So meal planning is just really creating a simple template as far as like what you're going to be eating day to day. So what I typically do is I plan out my dinners. My dinners are kind of my cornerstone of what I'm going to be eating for the week, because batch cook my meals. So when I batch cook my meals, that means I am creating a lot of the different components that I'm going to have at that meal, but I cook a lot of it so that I have those leftovers for lunches. So what I mean by that is I'm not necessarily making, 20 pounds of chicken and then I'm putting them in little containers with a nice potato and then I'm microwaving that plastic container, which is probably going to give me cancer later on in life. But what I am doing instead is I am cooking up different components. So I'm cooking up proteins, I'm cooking up my carbohydrates. I am having some vegetables or fruits on hand, and then I'm adding, some type of fat to my meal. So what I typically focus on is my proteins and my carbohydrates. And I'm cooking up, maybe some chicken in the crock pot, or I'm grilling some steak, or I am making a breakfast casserole, something to that effect. And I'm using those as my dinners. Yes, I do breakfast for dinner on a fairly regular basis. I'm making those for dinner, but then I have leftovers so that I can have them for lunches. So what I do is I just look at my week, figure out which days I'm going to be eating at home, which days I need to cook for, and then I make those meals on those days. So I'm just plugging them in and I'm making very simplistic meals. I'm not making anything fancy. So what I do is I look at what I have available and I just make meals based off of that. So, for example, I have some ground beef. Okay, a couple quick ideas of what you could do with ground beef is you can make hamburgers, you can make burrito bowls, you can make meatballs and put it over pasta. You can also just have that with rice and some sauteed vegetables. Again, doesn't have to be anything fancy here. So, what I do then is I take my ground beef and say, okay, I'm going to make my ground beef, rice, and vegetables on Monday night for dinner. And now I'm going to have that tomorrow, Tuesday, for lunch. Okay, now Tuesday, I have some chicken. So I'm going to put chicken in the crock pot. I'm going to make some shredded chicken. Now I have some potatoes. I'm going to make some baked potatoes in the oven while my chicken is cooking in the crock pot. And I'm going to have that for Tuesday night dinner and Wednesday lunch. And so I just kind of go through the week and I reuse my ingredients. So now with my ground beef, maybe for Wednesday dinner, I'm going to now make a burrito bowl. So I'm reusing what I've already made. And now for Thursday, I'm going to reuse my chicken and I'm going to have that on a wrap. And that's going to be my dinner with, a side of vegetables and a side of fruit. You get the idea. And then one night a week, I will have a leftover night. So I just kind of have whatever's left in my refrigerator and that dinner is covered. So essentially what you're doing is you're just taking what you already have on hand and you're making meals out of them. And again, it doesn't need to be anything that is fancy. It just has to have the components there. So if this is still very confusing to you because you don't know how to put these pieces of the puzzle together, there's a book called Cook Once, Eat All Week, which kind of explains this process a little bit more of how you can cook just a couple ingredients and now you are making multiple meals out of that. And so what I suggest doing is having an idea in your head, knowing how many servings of protein you need to be getting in over the course of the day, how many servings of carbohydrates you need to be getting in over the day, and then breaking that down per meal. So what I mean by that is if you need to be getting in 10 ounces of protein over the course of the day, now you're going to take those 10 ounces and divide it by however many meals and snacks you're going to eat. So let's say I'm going to have 5 meals and snacks. So 3 meals, 2 snacks. And I'm just going to divide everything out evenly over the course of the day. What I'm going to do is take that 10 ounces and divide it by 5. So now I know I need to get 2 ounces of protein at every meal or snack. Same thing with carbohydrates. Maybe I need to get in 15 servings of carbohydrates. So I'm just going to divide that out over my 5 meals and snacks. I have 3 servings of carbohydrates per meal and snack to get in. You get the idea. So then you know how much chicken. Okay, I have 2 ounces of chicken that I need per meal. How many servings of carbohydrates you need at that meal? Okay, well, with my chicken, I'm going to have a potato. So I need roughly a 3-ounce potato, which is about the size of my fist. That's what I'm going to have as my meal. And it makes it super simplistic. This is something that I actually teach in my performance nutrition blueprint. So this is basically a customized meal plan framework specifically for female athletes. And what I'm doing is I'm taking what you need to be eating per day and I'm creating these buckets. just like I explained, where you're saying, I need 2 ounces of protein and 3 servings of carbohydrates per meal. There's other things that you would need too, but you get the idea. And we're just kind of filling in the blanks with very simplistic foods so that okay, at lunchtime, I need to have my baked potato and my chicken. You can have whatever food that you want that fits in there, but you get the idea so that it makes things very easy for you and you're not just looking around like, oh, I don't even know what to get in. And things are already going to be made because you are batch cooking. This is going to make your life so much easier, and it'll make it so much easier for you to reach your goals without spinning your wheels all the time. If you are ready to get started on a customized plan for you so that you know exactly what to eat when and how much to eat when, I want you to head on over to my website and you're going to sign up for a free, no obligation consultation so that we can chat about if the performance nutrition blueprint is the correct option for you. And from there, we can go ahead and get you signed up if it is a good option for you. And this, like I said, is going to create that framework for you so that you know exactly how much you should be eating and when. And then you can easily just pull it out of the refrigerator because, like I said, you're going to plan some things out. You're going to take 5-10 minutes at the beginning of the week and you're going to batch cook your foods when you're already cooking. So you don't have to cook every single night of the week and you'll have it all together waiting for you. All you need to do is just schedule that free consultation below, and I will drop the link below for you in the show notes.